Now you're going to find an operation and maintenance manual in the back seat pouch of every M-Series small wheeler. Always refer to this document when it comes to service and operation guidelines. Now the M-Series operation and maintenance manual is going to recommend a 50-hour grease interval for these high rotation bucket pins. We would also recommend that with the fusion interface coupler, you spin the work tool off at least once a week and grease these frequently used wedges as well. Now as we walk around this M-Series, there are several grease locations which are a bit hard to see, and we're going to point those out. Now there's over 20 different grease locations on the M-Series small wheelers. As an operator tip for you, I find that it's easier to get access to the link grease locations if you roll the coupler slightly forward, exposing the location here at the coupler link, the lever link, the fusion wedges, as well as the bucket pin. Now here we are in the articulation joint of these M-Series small wheelers. Friendly reminder, this is a crush zone, so best practice is to put the steering articulation lock in place before we carry on with our routine service and maintenance. Now if you find that the articulation angle isn't perfect for this pin to drop in, as an individual you can then get up in the cab, make those minor steering corrections, and this pin will drop in place. With the safety pin in place for the steering articulation lock, which we'd recommend you do both for shipping as well as extended service and maintenance intervals, we can carry on with those hard to reach grease locations, including the lower articulation joint, the rod end of the steering cylinder, the head end of the lift cylinder, the upper articulation joint, and the rod end of the lift cylinder. Now while you're down here, go ahead and check your gearbox fluid levels. You can do that right here through this sight gauge, and you're looking to find that the oil is between the minimum line and the maximum line when the engine is off. If you find that you need to top it off, you can do it right here using Caterpillar approved fluids relative to the temperature zone that you're working in. As standard equipment, all M-Series small wheelers will feature a ground level emergency shutdown switch. By flipping up the safety catch, you can trigger the emergency shutdown, which will kill fuel to the injectors and bring the machine to a stop in a hurry. You'll also find in this area the windshield washing check. Here in this vertical opening, it can be topped off right here. Now we'd recommend that you check your hydraulic fluid level when the linkage and work tool are both ground and level. And you're going to find that sight gauge right here behind the cab. And you're looking to make sure it's between the min and the max line. Now here we are at the first of 3 large service doors, which can all be locked for added security with your standard CAT key. Now notice that the fenders go up with the door to improve your overall access. As a friendly reminder, there are rotating components under these enclosures, so we'd recommend that you turn the engine off before you open this and gain access. Now this is the hot side of the engine, so we'd recommend that you have a look in here at the exhaust manifold, the turbo, the back pressure valve, and clean out any debris that might be hanging up in there. You're going to find the master disconnect on machine left right here. Now we'd recommend that you turn the master off at the end of the day so that you don't drain the batteries. The key can be removed for added security. You'll also find our electrical service center here, and as an operator tip, this key is a nice tool to get access. Now under here you'll find our standard jumper studs, which is a friendly reminder are 24-volt systems. You don't want to use a pickup truck, a backhoe loader, a skid steer loader to jump the M-Series machines, as those are 12-volt style systems. You'll also find resettable breakers for the main machine functions here. You can also check your coolant level here, and we'd recommend that you do it when the engine is cool, looking for a level that is between the lines. If you find that you need to top off the coolant with CAT Extended Life coolant or the hydraulic level, we'll need to make a trip up here to the service platform. Let's have a look at how that's done. Now I find that access is best to the hydraulic and the coolant level when you close both the enclosure door as well as the cab door. Now as a friendly reminder, you're going to want to maintain 3 points of contact all the way up, and by closing the cab door you can maintain good 3 points of contact all the way up here to the service platform. Now you'll top off your hydraulic fluids right here, and we'd recommend that you use CAT Hydro Advanced Oil when you do. You're going to replace your breather every 2,000 hours, and you're going to replace your hydraulic oil every 6,000 hours. Now you'll top off your engine coolant here underneath this service panel. Now you're going to want to do this when the engine is off and the coolant is cool. This can build pressure if it's warm. Now we'd recommend you use the CAT Extended Life Coolant, giving you 12,000 hours or 6 years of life. Now with our fluid levels checked and everything topped off, let's have a look at our cooling package and the clean out axis that we've designed in. Now the rear door can be opened independently of the side doors, giving great access to these coolers. The AC condenser that goes up with the door, the air-to-air aftercooler for the turbocharged air, the oil cooler, 3 rows here for fuel, the radiator, and then a 938M only gearbox cooler. Now we would recommend that you clean the coolers out with air, and you need to dial the pressure down to about 30 psi max so that you don't do any damage to these cores. Now we have designed in additional clean out doors on both sides of the machine so that you can get in there with an air wand. If you need to use water, that is okay, except for corrosive environments handling fertilizer and manure. We would recommend air in those type of applications. Now we're going to find the remaining daily service items underneath the largest of the 3 enclosure doors. From here we can easily see the coolant level. We can belch out the air cleaner for the engine. We can put fuel in the machine, and we can spin down this service panel, giving us excellent access to those remaining components. Now as a friendly reminder, the M series small wheelers require ultra low sulfur diesel. You can run biodiesel up to B20, but that's the limit. It also requires ultra low sulfur engine oil. These are tier 4 final stage 4 engines in the family of M series small wheel loaders. Now you're going to want to check the engine oil when the engine is off and cool. Now our recommendation is that you pull out the dipstick, you wipe it clean, and then you reinsert it. Once it's reinserted, pull it back out and we can do our checks, and we're looking to make sure that it's between the high and the low marks. Now you're also going to want to check your water fuel separator right here in this sight gauge. If you find that there's water sitting in the bottom of this clear bowl, you can spin this drain out, open that up, and drain the water off. Now every 500 hours we recommend that you change the secondary and the primary fuel filters. Now the fuel priming pump in the M series small wheelers is automatic. Put your fuel filters on dry, key the machine to the run position, and they'll automatically prime in about 20 seconds and you're ready to go to work. Now when it comes time to either replace or clean out your engine air filter, you're going to get an airflow restriction indicator which will come up on the main dash. Now to do that clean out or that replacement, you undo the 3 clamps, you can pull out your primary. You're going to want to check all the pleats to make sure that there's no holes, and you can clean these out using low pressure air to give them additional life. Depending on how dirty your environment is, how much debris is in the air, this may be a daily, this may be a weekly type clean out. Now if you clean or replace the primary filter and you continue to get the indicator lamp showing restriction in the airflow, you need to replace the secondary filter. Now it's important to note that the secondary filter cannot be cleaned for second life. It needs to be replaced as new. Now with the introduction of the M series small wheeler and the latest emission technology, you will have to put some diesel exhaust fluid in these machines, also known as AdBlue or DEF. Now in the operator environment, we're going to give you a gauge on the primary display to tell you what that depth level is. When it's time to top it off, you're going to find that reservoir here on machine right. Nice access when you open this panel, and a cheat sheet telling you how much depth you need to put in based on what your gauge is reading. Now the diesel exhaust fluid burn rate relative to the diesel burn rate is about 2%. So what that means is that every fourth time that you put diesel in the machine, you're going to have to top off your depth. Now you can top it off after every fill, or you can enjoy that extended service interval with the M Series small wheel loaders. Now, if you're working in applications that have a lot of high debris and you find that you're cleaning your windshield frequently, on the M Series small wheel loaders, we do offer a windshield washing platform as an option. It's going to allow you to safely get up, maintaining 3 points of contact to clean both the front and side windshields. Let's have a look together. Nice grab rails which allow you to safely get up. Now, my advice on this step is to go ahead and break the mirror rearward to give you additional headroom. You can then come to the top steps, pull the windshield wiper away, and then you have full access to clean both the front as well as the side window. Now we can also service our fresh air intake here from the optional windshield washing platform. Now my advice to improve headroom is to go ahead and break this mirror all the way forward to give you good access. 2 quarter turn fasteners. We can open this up, 1 cam lock. We can pull out our fresh air intake filter, go ahead and clean it on the side of the machine, reinstall, and we're ready to go to work. Now when you key your M Series small wheel loader off, it's going to pull the diesel exhaust fluid, DEF or AdBlue, down out of the engine and back to the main reservoir. Now the reason it does this is DEF does freeze and you need to pull it down out of the engine. Now with the M Series, we feature a Keep Alive system which allows you to kill the master disconnect, pull it out, and finish your day. Now the amber light is going to stay on because that purge continues to happen and the electrics are alive for approximately 80 seconds after shutdown. Once the amber light goes out, we've fully killed all of the electronics and the DEF has been fully purged safely every time. Now you'll find the remaining grease locations here on machine right, and as a friendly reminder, this is a crush zone as we're working in that articulation joint. So best practice is to have that steering lock in place. Now, we've banked the grease fittings here. We're going to catch the upper linkage pins as well as the front bearing for the drive shaft. We're going to catch the rear steering cylinder pins as well as the rear axle. Now, you're also going to need to grease the drive shaft, both the splines and the U-joints front and rear from this location. Now on the axles, you're going to check the differential fluid level and the final drive fluid level every 250 hours on both the front and the rear. And you're going to replace the fluids at 2,000 hours. Now with all our ground level checks complete, let's go have a look at the safety and service items in the operator station. Now with safety being our top priority, you're going to want to put your seatbelt on. With the M Series small wheel loaders, we do have an operator presence switch. If you put the machine in gear and you don't have your seatbelt on, you're going to get a double beep and an indicator is going to come on the front dash to remind you to put your seatbelt on. Now the M Series small wheel loaders are hydrostatic powertrain machines, so it's important that you can comfortably get your left pedal, your ground speed control pedal, all the way to ground. So I use that as a gauge to set my forward and backward position on my seat. With that set, you can now fine-tune your comfort with tilt and telescoping steering wheel and fully adjustable seat mounted controls. Now emergency exits, of course, the standard door. You've also got a very large sliding window. And if you get in trouble in a rollover situation, we do have as standard a glass hammer in every M Series small wheel loader. It allows you to get out the front or out the back. Now please take the time to adjust your mirrors. We've brought electronically adjusted mirror to the left and right exterior mirrors. We've also added a lower parabolic, which when adjusted correctly allows you to see the tires all the way to the ground. Now the internal mirrors, when adjusted correctly, allow you to see the rear corners of this machine. They are a manual adjustment. Also, as standard equipment on the M Series small wheel loaders, you're going to get heated exterior mirrors as well as rear glass with a simple push of a button. Now, safety checks and interlocks. As standard, you will get a hydraulic lockout, which we'd recommend you use anytime you're servicing the machine or you're roading the machine. The park brake has also moved to an electronic switch here on the dash. Now, per the operator maintenance manual, we recommend that every 250 hours you do a test of both the service brake, the park brake, as well as secondary steering when equipped. Now, you can follow the procedure in the operator's manual, and you can use the secondary display as a cheat sheet, a quick way to go ahead and do those service tests. Now, the way we do that, we hit our question mark, help me test this machine, and we hit our T. Now notice that the middle light is lit up under the T, the test function, which means I'm ready to do my park brake test, but I can toggle between the three tests as needed. Now as I use my navigation buttons, here I have my first light lit. I'm ready to do my service brake test, first light, and this will guide me through the procedure. Just as easily, I could do my park brake test, second light lit, it would guide me through the procedure. The coupler switch, when equipped, is here next to the key. Now, friendly reminder, anytime you change a work tool, make sure that you do some back dragging with that tool to check and make sure that it's securely on the machine. We've also got a backup alarm as standard. When you put the machine into reverse, check to make sure you hear the beep, beep, beep. When equipped, you'll also have a backup camera as part of the secondary display. Now, a new feature with the M Series small wheel loader is rear object detection, which features a dual radar system, which is looking behind the machine and giving you both an audible and a visual indication as objects approach you. 1 bar as you get close, 2 bars and a warning, get stopped, and then 3 bars and a constant beep when you really need to get on the brakes, adding safety to your job site when you've got dynamics of people and machines, as well as service trucks, driving through the yard. Now, best practice when you start the M Series machine is to key it to the run position and allow all the electronics to come online. And that's indicated here by the front instrument cluster. When the gauges fully cycle, it's safe to go ahead and start it up. Now, for more information on the controls of the M Series small wheel loaders or the indicator lamps, please refer to your operation and maintenance manual. Now, you can easily access the fresh air and recirculation filters for the operator environment here through the emergency exit window by turning the quarter turn fasteners. You can open the access panel, spin the quarter turn, pull out the fresh air intake filter, and I like to just beat it on the side of the cab. Depending on how dirty your environment is, this may be a daily, this may be a weekly type clean out. Now, if you find that you need to replace this filter, throw it on the ground and bring a nice clean filter through your operator environment and replace it. We encourage you to start every day with these routine safety and service checks. Please make it a priority to wear the right safety gear. Check your surroundings. We want you to end every day the same way you started it and get both you and your machine home safely.